This is the Gymnastics Experience, Episode 1. I'm Raleigh Carter. So I'm 2 weeks into this job, right? And I got 12-to-1 ratio. They give me 12 girls, the recreational gymnastics. I've taught 8-to-1 ratios, 10-to-1 ratios, but now it's 12-to-1 ratios. I got 3 little bars, so I stick 2 girls on a bar, each bar. Okay, 6 girls, perfect. Now I got 6 other girls I gotta figure out something to do with, right? So I got 3 side stations, 2 kids per side station, boom. I got 10 minutes to teach these 12 girls something, okay? That's less than a minute per group. That's less than 30 seconds per girl working with me. You know how it is when you rotate kids because they all forget what the next station is. So you're like, rotate, you gotta re-explain it and re-explain it and re-explain it. In the back, you have the girls on the big bars doing all the crazy good skills, right? The Kachevs and the Sashes, Jaegers and the toe shoot, full pirouette, whatever, double backs, double A's. You spend more time explaining to them what the stations are than actually teaching them anything. 2 weeks into the job, I'm looking at these girls going, I have no idea how you guys get from here to there. Right? And 6 months later, I'm doing the same thing. I had no idea what I was doing 6 months later. And it's crazy, and it really is just, it's nuts. And you know how I changed that? You know how I solved that problem? Environment. Teaching is all about environment. Realistically, you have to have an environment that students can learn in. So what is environment? An environment is simply the people and the things that make up the space you're in. So environment for coaching really is about where's the gym located? What's the demographic they're marketing to? How big is the gym? Do they have enough apparatus? Do they have enough equipment? What's the coaching situation? Do they have enough staff? What's the class ratios? Do they organize even rotations so when you rotate from event to event, it's all organized? This is your environment. And to learn, you've got to have an environment that fosters learning. Well, I mean, if you have a 12-to-1 ratio and your environment is not set up to teach a 12-to-1 ratio, you're gonna have problems. And that's basically what I ran into, is I was in an environment where I couldn't have a 12-to-1 ratio, and that caused problems for me. I couldn't teach the kids anything. And so environment is really all about having the right stuff to get the best results, and that's all we want, right? Because all we want to do is be able to teach and have people learn. You know, I was in a gym once that only had 1 wedge, and I was sitting there thinking, how do you teach anything with 1 wedge? I mean, their environment was not set up to be successful at teaching anything, because 1 wedge, that's not enough to teach anybody. I mean, what are you going to teach 1 person at a time? You got 8 kids, you need a lot more wedges if you want to teach them stuff. And so having the right environment is really going to set you up for success. And there's a conflict of interest because the business owner wants to make money, they got bills to pay, and the coach wants to teach gymnastics skills, double backs, Urchenkos, Tkachevs, all that stuff, right? And so you really got to come to an agreement with the business owner and the coaches. They got to come to an agreement and say, hey, let's create the best environment that we both can get out of the situation that we want. And that's really takes a lot of communication. But if you don't have the right environment to learn in, then your students aren't going to improve as fast as you really want them to. You're going to struggle. You're going to feel a lot of stress, anxiety. We all teach the same thing: lines, stations, and circuits. Teaching formats, that's what I call them. Okay, line, stations, circuits, we all teach it. But if you don't have the right environment to become the best coach you can be, it doesn't matter what your line, stations, and circuits are, because your environment is not setting you up to be successful as a coach or instructor. So that's what we're talking about. Get with your bosses, talk to the people who are in charge, see if you can create an environment that will help your students learn, that'll make your customers happier, okay? And then see what happens at the end. And then we're gonna talk more about line, stations, and circuits in future videos. Have fun with that.